Okay, I'd like to thank you all for showing up. It was a great fight, and I won't be taking any questions regarding the personalities, and I will report that the kid is enjoying a well-deserved vacation at Disneyland. And any questions?
In the post-fight yammer, there has been some blibble-blabble regarding the gun issue. Could you resolve any confusion regarding the gun issue?
Well, the gun issue should have never been intermixed with the overview of our need to control violence. It was really a violence control issue, not a gun issue. The gun issue became an issue because guns have been defended, gun ownership, as a method of revolution. And it has been the argument from our side that we can't be investing in violence, and revolution is violence against government. And this is not a future option. Technology kind of eliminates it as a future option. We are not, fighting armies that have pitchforks and clubs in their hands. The armies of today have malicious weapons of great destructive power. Even guerrilla forces and even single individuals can create a great deal of harm and mayhem. And the future promises to be worse in that regard. And so this is a irrational and foolishly undemocratic and irresponsible excuse for gun ownership. It no longer has any, no longer can be defended as a method of political reform. That is just a ludicrous position to take, and it justifies a great deal of social damage in that it gives people, it empowers people who have sick and crazy motives regarding and contempt for the government. Rhetoric does matter. People can be, incited to violence or to making very poor decisions based on this irrational talk. And it's irresponsible talk is what it is. And so that's how the gun issue became part of the overall violence control issue. Guns are but a symbol of a dependency and a reluctance to accept what progress will require of us, which is some concessions to the social order. And if no one is willing to make those concessions, then we will, no doubt, not be able to sustain a future.
How do you intend to control violence?
Well, we wish to be clear that we have no intention of personally controlling individuals or violence. The point being made in the fight, and that has, I think, victoriously prevailed, is that it is a subject that needs discussion and study. It is, as a society, we must reflect on where we are heading before we head there. We have learned some hard lessons from 9/11 and Oklahoma City, and the lesson is that we react a day too late. We really can't afford to be behind the curve on this violence issue. We do need to anticipate problems before they arise, anticipate vulnerabilities before they arise, and have contingencies to protect ourselves from those vulnerabilities. And if we don't do that, if we don't take the vulnerability seriously and examine technology as we progress, and examine what can and cannot be done by people with malicious intent, we are inviting the impending disaster.
Could you explain that another way, as many viewers seem incapable of understanding without you going over and over it?
Well, I would use the analogy of a 2-year-old. You wouldn't give a 2-year-old a hammer, and emotionally human beings are in context, somewhat immature as intellectual animals. We are still compelled by emotion and still driven by natural forces. And until we overcome that problem, we must be treated as such. You educate children, try to create in them some self-discipline, some principles to live by. But these are not guarantees against aberrant behavior. Until we have a guarantee against violent or aberrant behavior, we've got to definitely create prophylactic protections against the possibility of the 1 in a million or 1 in 6 billion lunatic. And it's just common sense to work on both ends, to try to not only create a more civilized human being, but at the same time create social mechanisms that prevent the aberrant individuals from destroying the civilization.
What is your projection regarding when this apocalypse will take place?
Well, we're not making any predictions regarding when the next disaster may take place. I mean, we could certainly speculate, but that open speculation becomes very self-defeating, in that I could explain many vulnerabilities that exist today, but then in explaining those vulnerabilities, I am giving, perhaps malicious individuals and perhaps empowering them to exploit those vulnerabilities. The situation is that if we can just think in terms of 50 years from now, or 100 years from now, or 500 years from now, it becomes quite apparent that there's going to be incredible progress, as there has been in the last 100 years, and that through that progress we will have to understand that technology is going to be part of that future, and that there has to be, there's nothing in the basic nature of the human being that necessarily requires full autonomy when it comes to every aspect of their social life. They don't need full access as long as they have the liberty to enjoy and exploit their environment to gain their satisfaction. There really might be no need for the average person to feel empowered to overthrow the government. To maintain a need to have some power to cause mayhem, well, that is just caustic to any possibility of a future. And so that's the limitations do not have to be in any way an infringement on the basic freedoms we enjoy today.
Could you try putting that another way for the slower folks in the audience?
Well, it has been explained, and there has been explained that technology is on a curve, and that there is a constant curve, a constant steady reality of the human tendency towards violence, and that these two may well, and may certainly, intersect in the future. That is another way of explaining it that apparently has not been very effective. I would suggest that people can understand a hammer, and they can understand now that we have pneumatic hammers, and that in the future we may have, nuclear hammers. I mean, it's just common sense, and that with each development in this chain of progress, there is a new risk. There have been people who have been actually shot with nails from pneumatic hammers. So obviously it's a hammer that has become more lethal if abused. It's just a fact of life. Fire on the ground isn't much problem. Fire in the building, it's a problem. That's what progress does. It changes the scenario. Physics aren't the same anymore.
Hey, look, it's the kid.
I thought I told you to wait in the car.
Well, you said we were going to go out and get ice cream.
Hey kid, any major problems in there?
No, I was never worried. You know, I was a little worried I'm going to get piss on my shoes because Mick says, you know, I can't get new shoes till next year. But, you know, beyond that, no, man, no worries, man, no worries.
Okay, I think that's enough questions. So thank you very much. We've been very gratified by the victory, and we have no interest in discussing personalities any further unless there is further need to do so.